When we had our 3 kids, I think they're quite lucky that they already have a family that uses American Sign Language. They have deaf parents. That was going to be their first language from the get-go. I was born completely deaf. And at the time, my parents really weren't too sure what to do. They didn't have the skills to communicate with me. But that was just how we all communicated while I was growing up. And now, Monica and I have 3 deaf kids, and that brings me right back to my experiences growing up, the frustrations and challenges that I experienced not having full access. And now I want to have things be the best possible for our daughters so that we can overcome those barriers that I experienced and to make sure that they're ready to overcome those barriers. Hello. We're the Lane family. I'm Monica. Hi, I'm Dad. I'm Tim. I'm Yulina. My name is Vanina. And my name's Zylana. Our parents also took American Sign Language classes, but it was a second language for them, and they were fairly busy immigrants in their 30s at that time taking care of kids, so it wasn't easy for them to learn. I did have a younger brother, though, who picked up American Sign Language very quickly, and he would do a lot of interpreting for the family, for myself and my older brother, so that we could communicate better with our parents. But, again, our parents only signed a little bit. And I really want the best for my kids. I want them to have full access, full identity as a deaf person. And for them to, as someone who's already been through the system, and I know the challenges and the struggles, I don't want them to have those same challenges and struggles. I want them to fully participate in society, their education, have networks of people that they're connected with, and have full access in their life. So I really want them to have the best experience possible. When we first had our daughters, it was really hard. There wasn't many resources available to us. We were living in a small community. There was no other deaf kids near us on the island, but we were so thankful for DYT. They would have the camp, and that's where our daughter would be able to go and get full access and be able to communicate and be with families that were like ours. We're so appreciative for that programming. Our daughter had never met that many people, and we were able to go, and she was able to communicate and meet everyone at the camp, both people from the island and from throughout BC, and those have been friendships that have lasted. We have those kids and families come visit, and then there's camps that happen every year, and it's just fantastic, and it's a great way to find resources. Also a great way for us to meet other families that might have hearing parents, and we're 2 deaf parents, so great to meet them, help support them in their learning. They help support us as well. We're on very similar journeys, so that common understanding of our journeys is amazing, and that's something that DYT provides. If we go to other camps, it's not that same experience. There's not that common understanding. We really want the best for our daughters. We want them to have a strong sense of identity and to know who they are, to have a really good foundation in communication and have great relationships. On Vancouver Island, there aren't many great role models for them to look up to and to dream. Our kids can socialize with other kids that are similar to them, share the struggles they're having, talk about what's going on, grow up together. They aren't missing out on that sense of having a deaf identity. They still have that network and that connection, which is really nice. DYT has also really helped the girls to increase their confidence and become really strong leaders. They're able to see role models at camp and learn from them and continue on those traditions. So it's really important that these things are offered. And FNDC is how that all happens. And sharing those experiences makes everyone stronger. I hope that by our kids being involved in DYT, they'll be able to become part of FNDC and give back and carry on those traditions of sharing and taking care of future generations. That's something that is incredibly important that FNDC stay around. And we can see that at these events, Their understanding, their use of American Sign Language grows. They're in a fully accessible environment. Having a sense of identity as a deaf person is so important, regardless of where you live in the province. When your child is deaf, you need to be involved in the deaf community so that they can socialize, see other people that are the same as them, see the diversity in the community, see role models develop their skills, get in touch with deaf culture and art. We decided for our girls to be mainstreamed in a hearing school. We decided that because the cost of living in Vancouver is so high, we just couldn't afford to move to the Lower Mainland. But we do have FNDC and various events that we get them participating in to keep them connected to the community and to keep them developing their identity as a deaf person. So it's really nice that they have that. Without that, they would be really limited. FNDC has the resources and everything needed to be around for a very long time. They're an organization you can depend on, and they're going to be able to provide support for years to come. And hopefully, our daughters will become part of the next generation of people supporting FNDC so that the programs can stick around.